I have a very special guest joining me. He's a man that holds a 17-0 record with 7 KOs. He's ranked number 4 in the WBA and the junior middleweight division. He's also a WBA international and continental champion. Goes by the nickname Black Thunder. That's Caoimhin Agyarko. Caoimhin, appreciate you for taking time to come on today, man.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, Caoimhin, I want to get into the very first thing, and that's talking about your most recent fight. I know it's been a couple of months now removed from that day, but there's certain moments in boxers' careers where you almost earn the respect of everybody. And I think that was one of those situations where you're coming into a situation, you fought a great fight, and then you come out 20 days later, you return back to the ring on a big stage against Ryan Kelly, and you get a great performance that night. Can you just take us through now that you've been able to reflect on that performance, just what your thoughts are?
Yeah, obviously, it was a good performance, good short notice
Hmm.
fight for me. Obviously, I took a lot of risks jumping in. I think I got 10 days notice.
Right.
Um, so taking a high risk fight like that on 10 days, especially after just fighting, I think 2 weeks prior to that,
Hmm.
um, it was a big risk, but it paid off. So yeah, it was good to get out, be active, and get another good win on my record.
Take us through the process of that because you finished up a fight against Harley Collison. Great performance there. 10 days later, you accept the next fight. 10 days after that, then you're returning to the ring. Then how did you kind of have a whirlwind of a 20-day span for yourself? What all happened in that time span?
Yeah, of course. The fight against Harley Collison was more so just to keep me active.
Right.
Um, I was very inactive last year, so we got that fight on a small hall show, and it was just to keep me active. And yeah, I was planning on going home because obviously I train in Liverpool, but I live in Belfast, so I
Right.
was planning on going home and just taking a couple of weeks off because I had a bit of a long camp for that. And obviously, I got the call to fight 10 days later. Um, I knew going into that fight that it was a big risk for me. Ryan Kelly's a good fighter. He was preparing for a tough fight in Ismail Davis, so he had a proper camp. Would have had proper sparring and stuff like that, and he probably fought at a higher level than me. Although he's come up short against some of the top fighters like Kieran Conway and Hamza Shiraz. He's fought at that high level, so the jump in on 10 days' notice was a big risk, but it paid off. And after an active 2024 was kind of a fight that I needed to take because I didn't have anything else in the pipeline, and yeah, I took it, and thankfully I got the win.
I want to go back and revisit that scorecard from that fight because I think anyone that watched that fight thought it was a little bit of a wider scorecard than what it should have been. Obviously, you had one that was a 50 or 95-95 draw. Obviously, some that were a little bit closer. But when you look back on that, what's your thoughts on that? Do you feel like you had a much larger margin of win there, or what's your thoughts on that performance?
Um, I don't think it was overall a great performance. I think from round 4 or 5 onwards, I kind of started to show the real Caoimhin Agyarko. I kind of slowed into the fight, but based on the scorecards, I don't really take much away from it. The judges are there to do a job, and if that's the way they see the fight, that's the way they see the fight. But
Right.
on the night, I thought it was close. I thought maybe I got it by 2 rounds.
Okay.
But when I watched it back, I got why everyone was kind of cross with that 95-95 scorecard because I probably would have given it to myself by 4 rounds. I think the first half of the fight, he was probably leading 3-2 going into the fifth, sixth round, and then
Right.
I feel like I just took over then. So I would have had it 7-3 if I was scoring it.
All right. When you talk about overall things that you learned from that fight, obviously, like you said, short notice, a different opportunity experience for yourself. What would you say you took away from yourself as a boxing ability, as a person? Like, what would you grow from in that fight?
I think the experience and the fact that it wasn't a great performance up until the fourth, fifth round. I know
Okay.
that's still very short in a fight, but I think from the fifth round onwards, I had to dig deep. Obviously, I suffered my first cut in a fight in 21 years of boxing, so it was something new for me to deal with.
Right.
And um, when the cut happened, that's when things kind of started getting tough. Maybe I was feeling a bit sorry for myself, and I just think my coach gave me the right instructions in the corner, and kind of we knew what the game plan was, and we knew that the technical ability was there again, like it is against any other fighter. But um, I kind of had to dig deep. I had to show a side of me that kind of showed a bit of grit, a bit of heart,
Mhm.
showed that I can really bite down on my gum shield and go through the gears. And when things aren't going my way, like getting a cut or maybe feeling a bit sorry for myself, that I can turn things around and show a different side to me.
Absolutely. Well, Keeman, I want to get into your life and your career so people get to know you a little bit better. And if we're going to go all the way back, you were originally born in London, then you moved out to Ireland. Walk us that a little bit. What was it like growing up out there in Ireland?
Yeah, it was a lot different. Obviously, coming from London, just the environment, the community is a lot different. It's a lot tougher in London.
Okay.
Um, but my 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 mum is from Belfast in Ireland, and I have a lot of family here, so it didn't take too long for us to fit in. I had a great childhood growing up, and yeah, but I started boxing as soon as I moved to Ireland when I was 7 years old, and yeah, I've been boxing ever since. But yeah, I had a good childhood. Kind of just I was always active playing sports, whether it was football, boxing, soccer. You call it in America.
Right.
But I was playing Irish sports like Gaelic football and hurling. So yeah, I had a very kind of active childhood.
When you talked about starting boxing at 7 years old, at that point, did you know boxing was going to be the sport for yourself? Or when did you start to feel like, you know what, this is my lifestyle. This is what I really want to pursue moving forward?
No, not at that age. I think I'm very young at that age, and I didn't
Right.
really have full commitment to it because I was playing other sports. But I
Hmm.
think when I got to about 12 years old, 13 years old, that's when I started to take it a lot more serious. I was obviously a lot bigger and kind of understood the sport a bit more. So
Right.
that's when I realized that I have a bit of a talent here, and if I work hard, I can develop that and develop my skills. And that's what I did. I started working hard from a young age and committed myself. And kind of at 14 years old, I knew that this was what I wanted to do.
I know you take great pride in representing Ireland. Can you walk us through that a little bit? Just being able to represent Ireland as a nation, be able to talk about that and represent them wherever you go, wherever you fight. What does it mean to represent Ireland?
It means a lot to me. I think that fighting Irish is in me. I think that's telling. But just the support that you get from the Irish fight fans and just the Irish people in general, no matter what where they are in the world, they always tune in and support their own. And um, you kind of it's you, I come from a great community, a great
Mhm.
fighting community, and um, the people in Belfast and Ireland are friendly and loving, and they like I say they back their own. So it's always great to be able to go out and perform on the big stage, and knowing that you have a country behind you, and that you're representing them. And I feel like with all the support that I get, that the only way I can repay them is by doing my best and going out and winning every time.
There was a quote you talked about a little bit ago. It said you'll have the potential obviously to be the very first ever Black Irish World Boxing Champion. To have that possibly be an accolade attached to your name, what would that mean to you?
Oh, it would be a dream come true. It's something that I've dreamt of since I was 12, 13 years old. And knowing that I can create history and become the first person to become the first Black Irish World Champion, it means a lot to me. It cement my name in history, and um, more so that I can pave the way for anybody from a different background that's
Mhm.
moved to Ireland, and um, let them know that they can fit in and that they can achieve something no matter where they come from. And that's the kind of way I look at it, is that by achieving that I can set an example for everyone coming after me.
I like how you answer that. It's not just about yourself. You want to be able to reflect for the future generations, the next generation, and multiple generations down the road. Has that been something that's always been a part of you? Have you always wanted to invest in the future generation?
Yeah, definitely, because I like to pay homage to the people that came before me, the people that
Hmm.
paved the way for me, the likes of Cord Frampton and people like Anthony Cacachi that box for the same amateur gym as me, and Bernard Dunn, all these great Irish champions. So um, if I can take one kid out of thousands of kids and inspire him and or her to become a boxer or try and achieve something in boxing, then I've done a good job. So yeah, I like to kind of um, lead by example for the younger generation.
You know, when you look at the outcome, the future of the generation of next generation of island boxing, how bright is the future out there?
It's very bright. Ireland come like we've always been called the Fighting Irish, so it's something
Yeah.
that's instilled in us. But there's so much great talent coming from Ireland, from the north of Ireland and south, and it's great to see that Irish fighters are kind of getting the respect they deserve now, being signed with big promoters and fighting on the big stage. Because 15 years ago, not even that long ago, a lot of great Irish fighters wouldn't have got the opportunity with the big promoters.
As for yourself, and you look at the next future generation we just talked about, are there certain guys that you would say, let's say under 25, 22 years old, are there guys that you look at right now and say they could be guys to keep an eye on, they could be the next future stars of Ireland boxing?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of kids from my amateur gym, and just I like to follow the amateur setup still. The
Mhm.
kids that want to go to the Olympics and stuff, and see
Right.
how they're developing. And there's a lot of great talent coming through the ranks, the underage ranks, especially in their early 20s. And I look forward to the future of Irish boxing because it's booming right now, so it can only get better.
Oh, let's head into your career because you have a very incredible amateur career. Just to put some numbers out there, 130 fights in your career, 110 of them in Ireland. You only lost 11 times, six national titles, including Irish senior national title. You also boxed 40 times for Ireland and boxed for the world and European championships. When you talk about your overall amateur career, walk us through that. What was that experience like?
Yeah, I had a good amateur career. I won six national titles and represented Ireland from a very young age on the
Right.
world and European scene. So I had a great amateur career, and I learned kind of my trade coming through that prepared me to be able to fight as a professional boxer. But um, yeah, it was a good amateur career. I enjoyed being on the Irish setup and representing my country all around the world. There's been some countries that I've been to that I would have never have got the opportunity to see without boxing. So it was great to be able to achieve a lot of things as an amateur. And the ultimate goal for me was to become an Irish senior champion. I know that I probably would have wanted to go to the Olympics and um, fight as a senior on the big stages, but
Right.
to win an Irish elite championship means a lot to me. To be number one in your country at the highest level, at the highest stage that you possibly can be, it was a great achievement for me, and it's one of the greatest achievements of my career.
That's what I want to ask about was the Olympic component. I know you obviously tried out for the 2016 one or 2012 one, I believe, and then it was 2016 you had a chance of going after it again. And you obviously decided to go turn pro before then. What led to that decision? Why did you decide to make the pro jump at that point in time?
I was a bit too young for the 2012 Olympics, but
Hmm.
2016 in Rio was my goal. Unfortunately, I fell short and didn't qualify for the World Championships to then qualify for the Olympics. But
Right.
um, I was just at a stage in my career where I didn't want to wait around for the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, which ended up being in 2021. So it would have been
Right.
a number of 5 years. Well, I turned pro in 2018, so it would have been a number of 3 years
Yeah.
to wait, and I might not have achieved that. So I just felt like it was the right time. I'd achieved everything that I wanted to achieve in Irish boxing. I'd represented my country all around the world, and I'd learnt my trade, and I just felt that I was ready to turn professional, and it was the right time for me.
When you made the jump, was the transition for yourself easy? Obviously, there's different styles between amateur and pro, but was it an easy transition for yourself? Do you feel like you adjusted quite quickly, or how was the transition for you?
Yeah, I adjusted quite quickly. I
Good.
was always labelled as an amateur that had a professional style.
Yeah.
Um, so from a very young age, I knew that I was going to turn pro at the end of my amateur career, and um, it didn't take me long to adjust. I always kind of had that aggressive style. I like to be patient, like to take my time and pick my shots. So um, I was ready to jump straight into the professional ranks.
Before you end up making your official pro debut, 2017 comes around. I want to ask you about this story because you're 20 years old, you're attacked by a gang in Belfast, and then you end up getting hospitalized with a gash going down your face and neck that was life threatening. Can you take us through what all went down that night and just how were you able to even come back from that?
Um, yeah, I was out in Belfast a week prior to just won a gold medal at a tough multi-nation tournament in Paris,
Hmm.
and yeah, I was just out, and a group of about 30 lads had just started an argument, and one thing led to another. We ended up fighting, and I've ended up obviously coming out with a stab wound. Obviously, it was a very tough time in my life, tough moment for me. I
Right.
nearly lost my life. It halted my career, and postponed things for me. But I have a very strong mind. I've been through a lot in life that people probably don't know about and that I don't speak about from a young age, and I've kind of just developed that mental toughness throughout the years. So when I got stabbed, I was able to um, come through it because I was very already mentally strong, and obviously there was tough times. Um, I suffered with mental health issues, and I hit some dark places at that time, but I just had to stay positive. I had the right people around me, the right friends, family. Boxing really saved me, to be honest. I knew that I wanted to achieve something in boxing, and if I would have let that incident take over and either affect me mentally and not let me have the confidence to get back in the ring, or affect me as in me trying to seek revenge, I knew that boxing would have been over. So um, I really had to make a decision whether I wanted to continue my career and go on to achieve the things that I believe that I could achieve, or do I throw it all down the drain and waste the talent that I had. And I was mentally strong enough to look at the positives and continue my career and just make boxing a reason for me to continue my career, in terms of never letting anything get you down in life. And no matter what situation you go through, there's always a brighter side. And if you have a positive mind and build a strong mentality, that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. And I knew that. So um, the only option for me was to continue to box and prove to myself that I'm still the fighter that I was before I got stabbed, and that I can be a better fighter, and use that to spur me on and motivate me.
I want to touch up on a few components you just discussed, one of which is the mentality aspect. People are going to go through, hopefully not as extreme as that situation you went through, but they're going to go through ups and downs in life. You talked about the component of staying mentally strong, staying locked in, and still pursuing your dreams. Was that, like you said, ingrained in yourself from the time you were younger, or did that almost kind of grow and nurture itself as you're going through that situation?
Um, I think just where I come from, the community that I come from, and nothing was given to me in life. So from a young age, I've always had to kind of be independent and fend for myself. And I just knew that no matter, I got to a stage. Obviously, you go through things in life and boxing, and obviously when I got stabbed, I genuinely hit rock bottom. So all the past experiences that I struggled with helped create that mindset of um, you've got to want to continue, you've got to want to help yourself, you've got to want to achieve something. And I use that as motivation to this day, that no matter what I go through, or anybody goes through in life, whether it's issues with boxing, injuries, personal life, job, with a positive mindset, you can overcome it. And that really helped me.
When you woke up in the hospital bed and you're going through a situation that was life threatening for yourself, at that point in time, I'm sure immediately you probably weren't thinking about boxing, but obviously once you got out and certain things happened, you started the recovery process. When did you realize, what, I can still go pursue boxing? When did it start to kind of get in your mind saying, I'm going to be all right, I can get back and start working my way back into boxing?
Oh, I knew that from the moment that I come out of surgery, that there was nothing
Okay.
that was going. Obviously, you have things that drift into your head, seeking, like I said, seeking revenge or letting it mentally affect me.
Hmm.
Um, but I knew the first thing I said to the doctors was, as soon as I come out of surgery, was, "When can I get back in the ring?" And
Okay.
they laughed at, they laughed at me and said, "Let's not focus on that right now. Let's just focus on recovering." But from that moment, I knew that I needed to get back in the ring, because I'm, I have an ego, as we all do as men, as humans, and
Right.
I have a lot of pride, and I never wanted the public or the fight fans or anybody that followed boxing or knew me to kind of question whether I would be the same fighter after getting
Mhm.
stabbed. And I needed to prove everybody wrong, and I needed to prove myself right, that it was a small thing that happened to me in my. It was a major thing that happened to me in my life, but in my mind, it was something small that I can overcome. And um, yeah, I knew instantly. I remember I went back to the gym, probably a bit too early. I think it was 2 3 weeks after I got stabbed. Physically, the cut had healed, but
Mhm.
mentally, I probably wasn't in the best of places. Physically, I was still recovering, in terms of I lost a lot of blood that night, so it takes a while for your body to go back to normal. And um, and to obviously regenerate all that blood back. So
Mm,
I started getting lightheaded in training sessions and feeling sick
mm,
and not being able to train. And I kind of questioned, is this going to be like this for a long time? But I took another couple of weeks away from boxing, and then I was straight back into the gym. And I think I fought in a tough multi-nation tournament 5 months after, and I won it. So
right.
that hard work and that mentality paid off.
Talked about the mental component. That was almost probably one of the harder, difficult points to kind of overcome in that situation. When did you feel like you passed it? You kind of got past the point. You said, you know what, I'm on a better place mentally. How long did it take, and when did you get back to a normal mental state?
It took a long time. I
Okay.
think probably 2.5 years to 3 years to.
Mm,
I don't think I will ever fully recover from it. It was an experience in my life where I nearly lost my life, and
right.
it obviously um, mentally damaged me. But it took a good 2 to 3 years for me to um, recover from the demons that I was suffering, recover from the mental health issues that I was going through, and I had to go get professional help. I had great friends and family around me that
Mm.
always lent a shoulder to lean on and kind of voice what problems I was going through. So I would say 2 3 years it took.
How critical is it to have family members, or at least a close inner circle, as you're going through the up and downs of boxing, and in this situation specifically? But how important is it to have that tight internet circle around you?
It's very important. I'm somebody that has a very very small circle. Some of my friends have been with me since day one, and they played a big part in helping me with my recovery mentally. Because on the days that I didn't want to go to the gym or I couldn't see that vision, they wouldn't let me forget it, and
Mm,
um, that's very important in life. Away from boxing, away from anything, it's very important in life to have them people around you that no matter what, they're not when you're down in the dumps, they're not going to let you um, forget the vision that they know you can go down and that road. And that my friends and my family helped me immensely to get back to the person that I was before I suffered that incident.
Keeman, if I would have known you at that point in time, I would have said, you know what? In many, many years from now, you're going to be 17-0, 7 KOs, number 4 ranked in the WBA. What would your reaction have been?
The probably the, at that time I probably would have thought you were lying.
Okay.
I would have obviously I've always believed in myself and believed that I can reach the top of this sport. Um, but when I went through that situation, I questioned everything for a long time. I questioned,
Mhm.
was this meant for me? Am I going to achieve this goal? Am I going to be able to continue to box? And um, I probably would have laughed at you to say that I'll be in the position that I am in now. But I know it's taken a lot of hard work and a lot of dark days to get to where I am now, and that's why I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the people that I have around me. I'm thankful for the support that not just my friends and family, but when I got stabbed, the community come together to help support me, and that's why I have so much love for the Irish people and the Irish fans and fight fans and everyone in the community. Because when I was down in the dumps and was at rock bottom, it wasn't just people closest to me that helped me. It was the
Mhm.
boxing community that helped me get back to where I am now. So um, yeah, I've had a hard journey, but I've had the right people around me and the right support around me.
A little bit after this time all goes down, you make your professional debut. You end up making your pro jump at that point in time. And before we get into that, though, I do want to ask you, you have the nickname Black Thunder. How'd that come to be? Where'd you get that nickname?
So I fought for the Italian funders in the WSB as an
Okay.
amateur, the World Series of Boxing, and I'd won my fight. Obviously, that platform was over 5 rounds. It's more so a kind of semi-pro. I don't know if
Sure.
you're aware of the WSB, but
Hmm.
um, yeah. So I'd won that for the Italian funders, and I was just a couple of days after I was out with a friend. We were both drunk, and he started calling me Black Thunder, and I remember in that moment, I was just like, because I always said if I have a boxing name, I want it to be original. I want it to be authentic. I don't want it just to be something that everybody else has. So that's why
Okay.
I never had a boxing name as like an amateur or anything like that. And as soon as he said that, I said that's going to be my boxing name.
And so at that point in time, did you start branding yourself completely from that point going forward then?
At that point going forward, it was Black Thunder.
I love that, man. So let's get in that pro debut then for yourself. As you start going through this journey now, I want to get to the promotional aspect. And obviously, you bounce around a little bit. Start off with Queensberry. You end up going to Matchroom a little bit later on. But for Queensberry's point, for starting off with, what was that relationship like, and why did you decide to go to Queensberry then at that point?
There was a couple offers on the table whenever I was turning professional, but Queensberry was the best option for me. They had the best platform to fight on BT Sports, TNT.
Right.
Um, I was going to be signed with a Hall of Fame promoter in Frank Warren, somebody that's been around the game a very long time, and a lot of the fighters that he promoted um, that I watched growing up. So it was an easy choice for me to sign with Frank Warren, and I was with Frank for 3 years. I had 9 fights, and um, he was good to me, and had a great time being signed by Frank Warren.
You then make your move over to Matchroom. What led to that decision?
Um, I think it was just at that time it was a better deal. It was a better opportunity for me, and my main priority was to fight back in Belfast and
Mhm.
come home. All my fights prior to that had been in England, so my main objective was to fight in Belfast, and that's something that Eddie Hearn believed in and wanted to do. And that was kind of the real talent point for me in the negotiations.
You know, a lot of people don't understand the complete business aspect of boxing. That's all the stuff that goes down behind the scenes, and that's obviously kind of what we're discussing right now. And so, for yourself, how have you been able to go through the ups and downs of the business aspect? I was talking about Queensberry Matchroom, then obviously you parted ways with Matchroom. Walk us through just the whole business component there.
Yeah, it's very tough. There's a lot of politics in boxing.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like you said, I was with Frank Warren, and then I was with Eddie Hearn, and obviously I'm a free agent now. But it's very tough when you're going through stages like that in your career, where the kind of situation I'm in now, where you've no contract, you've no guaranteed fights.
Mm.
Um, but again, for me, it's just the vision. It's just the mentality, the mindset that you have to have, because nothing in life comes easy. Anything worth having is going to be a struggle to get, and um, for me, I've got a bulletproof mindset. I don't care what happens in my life. I know where I want to be, and I know how hard I have to work to be there. So, um, all I can do is train as hard as I possibly can, be willing to continue to learn, and when my opportunities come, I've got to take them. Just like that last fight, a short notice opportunity. Um,
Mhm.
if I didn't take that, I would probably be in a worse. I would be in a worse off position right now,
Yeah.
with no direction on where my career is going. But yeah, I've just got to train hard, keep a clear mind, and once my opportunities come, I've just got to take them with both hands.
When you did part ways with Matchroom, is there a reason behind that, or what all happened? Were you shocked by that even, or just what all happened in that situation?
I'm not too sure what the reason was.
Okay.
I was out of contract. We were talking about negotiating a new contract, and I took a fight against Troy Williamson, which was the biggest fight of my career at that
Right.
time. And a lot of people were saying that I was going to lose and that I didn't want that fight. So for me to take that fight, win it comfortably, and Troy Williamson was feared domestically. There wasn't any English fighters or any domestic fighters that wanted to fight him at the time. So
Yeah.
um, to go out and beat him convincingly, and then to not renew my contract and continue with Matchroom, I was obviously very shocked and um, disappointed in a way. But I understand the sport and I understand the game. It's nothing personal, and um, that situation was out of my hands. So all I could do was just keep a clear mind and keep training hard, because there'll be another opportunity that comes.
Curious now, when you talk about promotional discussions right now, you are number 4 in the WBA. You know, you're also believed you can get ranked in the IBF when they come out now in the new rankings. When you
Just come
talk
out
about those,
today, number
yeah, they
15.
did come out
Oh,
today. I didn't see that.
number 14, sorry.
Okay, that's why I knew they were coming out soon, so I didn't know if you got in there or not. I knew there's rumors you're going to be in the top 15. So, with you in there now, you know, you're a guy that could be fighting for potentially a world championship or title eliminator in the near future. Is there discussion on the promotional end where you could be signing with somebody? Is there discussion you have with anybody, or where do you stand on that?
I think technically that I am still I am signed with Matchroom as that last fight was on the Matchroom show, and
Right.
we signed a contract for another one or two fights.
Okay.
So technically speaking, I am under contract with Matchroom. But yeah, like I'm number four with the WBA, number fifth or number 14 with IVF, number 27 with the WBC, which is a bit high.
Right.
I, I'm top five in Europe. Do you know what I mean? I've got an unbeaten record. I've got a fan friendly style, and I feel like I am a fighter that should be signed with one of these top promoters on a long
Definitely.
term deal, and a fighter that deserves that opportunity. But this is boxing. Do you know what I mean? That I understand it. Not everything is smooth sailing in boxing in life. So I can't really complain because for the first 6 years of my career, I've been with two of the best boxing promoters in the game.
Right.
So I don't like to be kind of throw my toys out of the pram and complain about, oh, I should still be signed, or why aren't I signed. I've got to go and prove that to people why they should sign me, and I got to go prove to them that they shouldn't sleep on me and that I should still be getting these opportunities. So I leave that down to me. I don't blame promoters or anything like that.
All right. Well, you brought up the Troy Williamson fight, and that's something I do want to discuss a little bit because that was almost that moment where you kind of woke up to the global scale. A lot of people have said, you know what, you are for real. You're a legitimate threat now. And that was kind of like your turning point in your career, I feel like, at least from the outside looking in. What was that night like? And would you say was an accurate statement? Like, do you feel like that was the moment that almost solidified yourself as a legitimate threat on the global, on especially the domestic scene?
Yeah, definitely. It was a great night for me in my career to be
Mhm.
able to fight back home in Belfast against a great fighter in Troy Williamson and go out and put the performance on that I did and get a comfortable win. It was surreal for me. Um, but yeah, I felt like once I beat Troy that everything would then move forward and that I've shown to the world or certainly boxing fans that I'm the real deal and I'm here to make waves in the boxing scene. But obviously things went quiet after that and I wasn't able to kick on as quickly as I wanted to. But um, I'm in this position now and I'm happy and I'm thankful that um, I'm world ranked and I'm still unbeaten and that it's only a matter of time that I'll get my opportunity.
Well, let's head into your future plans now because I did see some stuff online. I know also made a post right after you had your defeat against Ryan Kelly that you could be returning in September. Is that still the plan? Do you still want to get back in the ring around September time?
Yeah,
Okay.
September, October time is the
All
plan.
right.
Um, it'll hopefully be back in Belfast. No opponent announced just yet, but my team's working on something, and I'll be in a big fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
If I were to ask you, let's look at the next year, year and a half, even heading into 2027, where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself accomplishing? Amount of fights, potential world champion status? Like, where do you see yourself heading into 2027?
Um, I think by 2027 that I have to be in contention of fighting for world titles or being a world champion. I think I've
Mhm.
got all the attributes and ability and skill set to become a world champion, and I believe in myself. So as long as I get the opportunities and the right fights, then there's no way that I can't achieve that dream and goal of mine. So I just want to be as active as possible this year, be in some big fights, keep moving through the ranks, and then by early to mid next year, I want to be in world title fights.
In terms of potential opponents, I know one guy that's been rumored around has been the guy that you ended up replacing on short notice in Ishmael Davis. And that's a fight that some fans locally, domestically want to see. Is that on your radar? Is that a fight you would be interested in?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think Ismail deserves the fight with me, but
Okay.
if if that's who I have to beat to get to where I'm going, so be it.
All
Um,
right.
whoever my team tell me is next, I'm going to fight. If that's the person that I need to get to the next stage to get to a world title, then bring on Ismail Davis. I'm ready for them fights. Ismail's a good fighter. We've showed round sparring, but he's just another person in my way to reaching my goal. So it could be Ismail. I'm not sure if he has other plans. I seen this or last week that he become mandatory for the British title against Sam
Right.
Gilly. So I'm not too sure if they're going to make that fight or if it's going to be me and Ismail Davis next. But it's a fight that I'm ready for and a fight that I'd welcome with open arms.
So if that fight were to happen, what's your prediction? How does that fight go down?
Caoimhin Agyarko win.
All right. I
Any
like it.
by any means necessary, whether it's a stoppage, whether it's points. I just think I'm a better fighter than Ismail Davis, and that's no disrespect to Ismail because I think Ismail's a good fighter, but Caoimhin Agyarko is just better.
All right. When you talk about making the world stage jump, obviously I said you're top four in the WBA right now. Is there a time where you're starting to say, you know what, I'm ready to start jumping up and making those worldwide fights, whether that be against a guy who's ranked in front of you in the WBA, like Jesus Ramos, Abbas, someone like those guys? Are those guys on your radar, or when do you plan on possibly making that world stage jump?
I've been calling Abbas Baru out since last year,
Right.
and that's a fight that I want. He's just vacated the European title. That's a fight that I wanted because I want to. I know you can't skip levels in boxing, so I want to fight for the European title and then push on to world honors. But
Right.
I'm ready for all these fighters. I'm 28 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a kid. I'm not a prospect. I'm a contender. So I just need the right dancing partner in front of me. Give me anyone ranked in front of me. That's the fights that I want. That's the fights that I need to get to where I want to be. The fights of like Ismail Davis isn't really going to put me in a position to fight for a world title.
Right.
He's not ranked, and that's no disrespect to Ismail, but um, these are the fights I want. The Bas Barus and the people that are ranked above me. They're the fights that I want because they're the fights that are going to bring me closer to that world title.
When you evaluate the landscape right now, guys that are in front of you, whether it be WBA, IBF now even, is there, let's say, three or four guys, who would be the guy that you would ideally want to fight? If it was no politics, no business side aside, like you just want to fight these guys because you know what's best for yourself career-wise, also what you want to do, who would those top three or four guys be?
I honestly don't know. I don't look at the division too much. I couldn't tell you. I know Abbas
Okay.
Baru's ranked higher than me. I know there isn't many other fighters that I know in the division. But someone like an Abbas Baru, someone like a Tim Tszyu, these are
Right.
these fighters are the fighters that I want. Kubanov, the Russian,
Right.
I think he's top 15 in the WBA. So any of these type of fighters, Israel Madrimov, I'll welcome them all with open arms. I
Right.
believe that I can beat any of these fighters, and I just need that opportunity. So whoever it may be, like I say, I never focus on the fighter. I always focus on myself. I'm
Mhm.
better in myself, and I know that as long as I better myself, that I can beat anybody. So I leave all the opponent talk to my manager and my coaches, and whoever they say they want next is who I'll fight.
I know you said the September date. Could we see one of those big fights September, or are you thinking one of those bigger fights could possibly happen later on in the year?
Well, if it's Ismail Davis in September October, then I think that's a big enough fight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
He's fought at a high level against Josh Kelly and the Ukrainian that beat him. Um, so that's a massive fight. So someone like him, or if not him, I want someone better than him.
Right.
I want big names. I want to be able to fight for world titles. I want to be able to come back to Belfast and headline shows and give the Irish fans great nights of boxing. So I'm ready for a massive fight in September October time.
All right. Well, Keeman, I have one final question for you. It's a question like wrapping up each every single interview with, and it's talking about your legacy. Obviously, you're only 28 years old. You still got a long way to go in this career. But when the day does come to a conclusion, you decide to put down the gloves, move on from boxing. What do you want your legacy to be for what you've accomplished both inside and outside of that ring?
I think I want people to remember me that for my fighting style, that I was an exciting fighter, that I never turned down a challenge, and that I paved the way for the younger generation to come through. Ultimately, I want to become the first Black Irish world champion and um, put my name in the history books
Right.
and stuff like that. But I think to pave the way for the younger generation and give, there's not a lot of role models from Ireland or from Belfast, whether that's within your friend group or within your family. There's not a lot of role models for people coming from our community, and I want to be one of them people that little kids can look up to and say, I want to be like him, or I want to be able to become a champion just like him.
Okay.
So when it's all said and done, I just want to leave my mark on boxing, on Irish boxing, and for the fans to remember me as a great fighter.
I love that. Well, Keeman, I appreciate you taking time to come on in, man. It's been a blessing and an honor having you on here. I can't not wait to see what God's got in store for you.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely. You're always welcome on, man. God bless.
Thank you very much.